Yes. What's going on, family? What's going on, guys? Huh? Yeah. Hope you guys are all having a phenomenal Yes. What's going on, family? What's going on, guys? Welcome to today's session with your boy Abel. We're gonna go ahead and get this thing started, guys, in just a couple more minutes. Let me just put my kids to bed, and we'll get this thing started, guys, in just a few more minutes. It is gonna be a phenomenal stream tonight. You know the vibes. So we'll go ahead and get this started, guys, in just a couple. Let's get it. Yes. What's going on, family? What's going on, guys? Welcome to today's session with your boy Abel. Super excited to be here with every single one of you guys tonight. But let's see what we got in the building today, family. Go ahead and drop those locations in the Chizzy chat. Go ahead and drop those locations in the chat, family. Let me know where you guys are tuning in from right now. All right, I see we got New Jersey in the building. We got Chicago. What's up? South Africa, I see you guys. Chicago, stand up. What's going on, Christian? We got Orlando in the building. Kyle, we got Vermont in the house. What's going on? Nigeria, Colombo, Sri Lanka. Let's go. New Zealand in the building. We got Chicago in the building. Cincinnati in the building. We got Philly checking in. What's going on, Vaughn? We got Raleigh in the house. Irwin. All right, what's going on? We got LA, California in the building. We got Toronto. We got Portugal in the house with us. We got New Caledonia, Trinidad, Sydney, Bahamas. What's going on, family? Super excited to be here with all you guys tonight, as usual. Let me go ahead and turn off this music. Let's go ahead and really lock in, guys, and see what the markets has pretty much given us throughout the day. Big shout out to every single one of you guys that were with us this morning on the actual, Profit Society Zoom call. If you were able to actually get on, we did have some technical difficulties today, guys, with the actual platform. And yeah, we had to do a lot of upgrading in the back end, upgrading some servers, doing a lot of moving around. And we're still working on it. Hopefully we can get the website fully back up and running, guys, by tomorrow morning's New York session. If we cannot get it up and running, the actual website itself, the Profit Society, then we will send out the Zoom, guys, via Telegram, right, to every single one of you guys that are in the Profit Society Telegram, so that you guys can at least still get on, right? But hopefully by the morning time, we do have any of these issues that we experienced today fixed, so that we can have another great New York session, right? Live New York session, which is, something that in my opinion is absolutely dope to be a part of, guys, if you guys are able to ever go ahead and jump on one of our sessions, right? If you ever do, our sessions are very informative, guys, in the morning. It's usually a collective of us, a few of the educators here that pretty much go like round table style, guys, around the markets, and really just break down pretty much our thoughts and opinions, right? So overall, like I said, tomorrow morning we will be live again. New York session. Make sure to be at least a part of the Profit Society Telegram if you guys are not a part of it just yet, so that if the website does not work, you at least still go ahead and get on by, through the Zoom link, through the actual Telegram itself, right? So that's that, guys. Again, it was annoying this morning, but, it is what it is. It's growing pains. If we expect to be a $1 billion platform, which is our goal, then we're going to experience, guys, a lot of hardships in the front end, right? So, it is what it is. But let's see what else we got here in the building. All right, I see we got Nigeria. We got the EU, Slovenia in the building. We got Bishops, UK. What's up? We got Johannesburg, Dallas on the check-in as well, guys. So let's go ahead and see what the markets have ultimately given us in terms of data for today. And then we'll go ahead and take a look at the markets, guys, and see of any opportunities that we were either in or that we can take advantage of going into tonight and tomorrow morning, right? So today, guys, we did have some PMI data actually get released here for the U.S. PMI data actually came out slightly above what was actually forecasted, right? But it was lower, than what they were expecting, right? Or at least what the last reading actually came out as, right? Last month, it came out at around 50.9, right? So we did see a little decrease in this, guys. Right now, how this typically works, right? PMI information is definitely one of those things that a lot of people have no idea about, right? Have no idea of how to interpret it, how to read it, right? So I'm just going to break it down in very simple terms, right? PMI data, guys. PMI, for one, stands for Purchasing Managers Index, right? This is an index, guys, or at least a release that gives us an insight as to what the big corporations, the big businesses, right, what they're actually doing in terms of, the people that are actually purchasing the supplies and the products and all this good stuff, right? Now, there is various different readings, guys, for PMI data, right? There's the manufacturing, I believe there's services, and then I believe there's one that combines them all, right? But anything above the 50, right, 50 and above, typically tells us that that specific industry, or at least for the manufacturing industry, it is expanding, right? Anything usually above 50, expansion, right? Typically. But when we see, our previous reading at around 50.9 and we see now come out at 50.2, we can't say that that industry is expanding, right? It actually seems a little bit of a contraction overall. Now, is that a good thing or a bad thing, guys? And I want you guys to answer this question, right? Is that a good thing or a bad thing to see, the manufacturing industry actually contract, right? Actually contract in terms of, what they're planning on doing, right? Is that a good thing or a bad thing right now? Right now, again, keep in mind, guys, what the main objective of the Federal Reserve is, which is to fight inflation, right? So before you answer, just keep that in mind, right? But what do you guys think? And again, there's obviously right now, I wouldn't say that there's no wrong answer to this, by the way, right? Because everybody's going to interpret it differently. You know, everybody's going to have different sentiment behind this stuff, right? So it's not like there's a wrong way to say this, right? It's just about what it makes sense to you, right? So is this good or bad, right? That we've seen it start to contract based off the previous reading. What do you guys think? All right, let's see. I see we got Texas made in the building. What's up? What's up? Shout out to that boy Chino. What's going on, dog? Appreciate you. We got Charleston in the building. All right, so let's say Powell ain't going to like that. Bad, bad, bad. Okay. Right now, let's really break this down again, okay? If we see an industry, right, the manufacturing industry, come out at 50.9, which is technically, again, if we look at it from what happened the previous reading, right? Let's go ahead and bring this stuff up. Right? Let's see, we got the guy George in the building. G, Ohio in the building. What's going up? Shout out to you guys. I appreciate y'all. Right, but let's really look at this really quick, right? Again, overall, we have literally been seeing this thing drop, guys, pretty much since, the high of April of 2021, right? So we have been seeing this thing drop and contract, right, pretty regularly. Now, again, remember what I said. What is the thought process behind this actual release, right? Contraction-wise, seeing it actually contract, is that good or bad for the economy, right? That was the main question. Well, if this increasing is showing that this industry is increasing, which means that a lot of other factors are going to increase, that is actually looked at as a positive thing, right? So this going up, right? Seeing this number increase is positive for the economy. If it's positive for the economy, then what is a negative? For the currency, the dollar? Yes. Right? So when we see it start to actually decrease, right? We can see this right now, guys, at least since the beginning of this year. It has went from 61, and now we're all the way back down to around 50, right? So this decreasing that we've been seeing, this decrease, is showing that our economy, or at least it's looked at as a bad thing for our economy. Now, if it's looked at as a bad thing for our economy that we're seeing this decrease, what is that going to do for the dollar? Go ahead and answer that in the chat, family. Right, and I hopefully you guys are really starting to understand this, right? Because again, PMI data is definitely one of those news releases that I know I went over it a little bit. I try to go over a lot of these news release, guys, as much as possible, but I haven't really broke it down like this for you guys, right? So I want to do that today because the markets did react off of this, right? But seeing this decrease, that is negative for the economy, right? That is showing that at least this industry, the manufacturing industry, is starting to contract. Contraction is a good thing right now. Okay, because if the Federal Reserve, if their main goal is to try to stop inflation, then we need to stop everything from expanding, right? We need to stop the manufacturing industry to expand, right? We need to stop, the service industry to stop expanding, right? We need to stop, our economy expanding, right? Everything has to stop if we really want to get inflation under control. So the fact that we are coming out lower and lower and lower, right? This is showing that there really isn't that much confidence right now in the economy, right? So yeah, this is very bullish news off of the data, guys. And if we actually look at the markets, right, we actually seen a bullish reaction off of that, right? Literally as soon as news dropped at 10 o'clock, we got this big old candle right here that sent us flying. Indices, they started to drop, right? Literally every single, these ones at least that we look at, NAS, SPX, US 30, they ended up dropping because of the actual release, because we are still contracting, right? Which is not good for the economy, guys. Is this making sense? Drop some threes in the chat, right? And I want to see, right? Because we got almost 100 people on. First of all, we only got 18 likes, guys. 100 people on, only 18 likes. First of all, go ahead and smash the like button if you guys understand what I'm saying. Forget the threes. You guys could throw the threes too, right? But go ahead and smash the like button if you guys are picking this up what I'm putting down, right? So again, for PMI, if we're seeing it decrease, that's bad for the economy. We're seeing an increase, that's good for the economy. Okay? Now understand how that's going to correlate, right, with the dollar. Okay? The economy doing one thing usually is going to lead to the dollar doing something else, right? The opposite. So keep that in mind. Okay? Keep that in mind. Let's see, I got it. Even though it came out higher than forecast, it still came out lower than previous. There we go, Kyle, exactly. Right, so look at the trend here, right? What has been the trend all year long for PMI? It's been dropping. I mean, literally, like I said, it's been dropping since last year of April, right? And what has been indices doing as that's been dropping? It's been dropping long term as well, right? Indices dropping as well, right? So, there's a little bit of a correlation there, right? Let's actually see when this thing peaked out, right? Now I'm curious to see if there is some type of a correlation to these indice markets. I'm gonna use the S&P just because it's the more broad one, right? But this thing ended up topping out on April of 2021. What did this market do? I mean, April of 2021, we were still pretty much very bullish, right? So that really didn't help us. But let's see, when did we actually truly start to go lower, right? So I would say maybe around here when we went from these 60s, which is, what is this? Yeah, so that's December, right? So December, yeah, so look at this, right? If you really line up December, guys, right? December was that high for the stock market, right? December was that high for the indice market. The moment we actually started to break, we broke below this 60, right? Because this has been the resistance for, literally all of 2021, right? Not all of it, right? But for the most part, yeah, actually almost all of 2021, guys, this was that resistance right here at 60, right? Once we started to break below it and we at least started to, go lower, it correlates with the indice market dropping as well, right? Literally, December is right here, right? December, January of 2021. December of January 2021 is that last high that we've seen before this market really started to turn around, right? So there is somewhat of a correlation there, guys, as well, when it comes to that PMI data and the indice market and the currency market as a whole, right? So that's exactly why we ended up seeing this thing drop, because of the data. Now, we also did have, guys, something also that influenced into it was the JOLTS job openings, right? Now, again, this one's a little bit more of an obvious data release, right? I went heavy with the PMI just because I want you guys to get that. Right, but Joe's job openings is doing exactly what it says, right? It's telling us how many job openings there is for this month, or at least for, September, the month of September. So they were actually predicting, 10 million jobs to, come out. It actually came out higher, right? This is probably the biggest reason, guys, why the market reacted the way that it did, right? It's a combination of PMI coming out the way it did and the job openings coming out the way that it did, right? Now, we actually did come out previously at 10.2, so we came out way higher, guys, right? Way higher than we even previously came out last time. Now, the question that we have to ask ourselves with this jobs report, right? And this is a very interesting thing that we have to keep in mind, right? Because this job openings, it came out better than expected. We can see that. But the question that we have to really start to ask ourselves is, all these job openings happening, right? Because there's just job openings, because more people are hiring or looking to hire? Or are all these job openings happening, right? And are they actually going to be filled? Okay? Because again, we got to think about the situation at hand, right? A lot of these businesses, guys, their profit margins has literally been shrinking since the beginning of this year, right? The profit margin for a lot of businesses, right? In order for them to try to combat that, they're going to start cutting costs across the board, right? Certain things, like maybe things that aren't as necessary, like maybe certain advertisements, certain sponsorship deals, right? So on and so forth. But then it could eventually lead to firing people, right? To actually starting to cut labor, right? Starting to actually let people go. Now, this is where I'm going with this. We actually came out higher than expected. But is it because of jobs that are just not hiring? Is that something that we have to take into consideration? Right? Because I'm pretty sure, yeah, there's a lot of openings. But are jobs actually hiring those that are open? Are people actually accepting applicants? That's the question we got to really figure out now, right? Because having openings is one thing, but if a job or a business is actually going to fill that space is a completely different ballgame. Okay, so that's just something to keep in mind, guys. But overall, more job openings. It is what it is. We still do technically have a strong jobs market over here. Obviously, we will find out on Friday exactly what the unemployment rate will be. It actually is around 3.5% right now. They're expecting it to jump up ever so slightly, just 0.1%. But like I said, this unemployment rate, and we combine it with the openings, can really give us a little bit of a story, right? Because if we do come out, with a higher unemployment rate, right? Not just this 0.1%, right? But it's just hypothetically speaking. I don't think it's going to happen, but hypothetically speaking, say we actually come out at 4% unemployment, right? So now we're talking about we have a higher unemployment rate, but we also have a higher job openings number, right? So more jobs are open, but yet less people are actually employed. That kind of doesn't make sense, right? And that's when that situation or that scenario really does come in, right? Yeah, we see the job openings, but are employers actually filling those positions, right? Do they have intentions on filling those positions, or are they just saying it's open just to say it's open, right? So, yeah, very interesting situation, guys, with that. But, yeah, that's the news that we actually had to deal with earlier today, right? And why the market reacted the way that it did. All right, now we actually just had a few hours ago, guys, the employment change here for the New Zealand dollar. You know, it actually ended up coming out much higher at 1.3%. And we'll take a look at the NAT or the New Zealand just to see if there was any reaction off of that. But that's pretty much what we had to deal with, guys, for today. Now, tomorrow is going to be a very, very interesting day, right? Very, very interesting day. Because we have a few different news events, right? So not only do we have the German unemployment change, right? With all this stuff, it does matter, German manufacturing PMI, right? But that's not really what we're too focused on for tomorrow, right? Tomorrow, we're going to be focused on all of this, right? From the non-farm employment change to the crude oil inventories to the FOMC statement to the interest rate decision and the press conference that follows, right? It is going to be a very, very interesting day tomorrow, guys, to see exactly what the Fed actually ends up doing. All right, their goal, or at least right now, the projection is for it to come out at around 4%, so around a 75 basis point rate hike, which is pretty much what has been happening, guys, for the past couple rate hikes. They've raised it by 75 basis points, and I truly believe they're going to come out at that. I don't see no change. I don't see no reason for that to not come out as predicted. I mean, the Fed has said it numerous times that their goal is to try to really, like, they're not playing around with inflation. You know, so we can't, assume anything otherwise. Now, there were a few central banks, hasn't something we've been talking about, right? But there has been a few central banks that has started to not do a U-turn, but they did start to lower by how much they're raising rates, right? The Bank of Canada did it first, and then we had the bank or the Reserve Bank of Australia, right, who also ended up coming out. They raised rates, but at a lower rate than what they expected it to, right? Or at least what the economists expected it to. Is that something that could happen here for the Fed? I mean, I'm not gonna rule it off the table, right? Because you just never really know. But I don't think so. Right now, I actually looked into the RBA guys, right? The Reserve Bank of Australia. And I actually looked into what they said, right? Because, you know, once the interest rate decision comes out, you know, they actually do give their statement, guys, on why they made that move, right? And in this statement, I didn't go too in depth of it, right? I only read a few little things of it, right? But what they actually said was, although that inflation is still here, they decided to be less aggressive simply because it has seemed under control, right? And again, I'm not saying word for what they said, but that's pretty much essentially, guys, what the gist was, right? And why they ended up only raising it 25 basis points was because, quote unquote, and again, it's not word for word, but it's because inflation looks like it slowed down, right? So because in their opinion it slowed down, that called for only a 25 basis point rate hike. Now, if this is going to work out positively for them or not, who knows, right? I'm not a psychic. I don't know. I don't know if that's going to possibly fuel more spending over there in Australia, you know, get people more optimistic of the markets. Because if that's the case, then, yeah, that's not going to help them. That's only going to really fuel inflation once again, right? And I don't think that's what the Fed wants to do, right? I don't think the Federal Reserve, guys, wants to become too lenient just yet. You know, because if they do, like, say they actually did something crazy and said they're only going to raise it to, 3.75, right? Say they actually came out tomorrow and said, you know what, we're only going to raise it 50 basis points. I think that's going to cause a lot more chaos than anything else, right? Because inflation is still above 8%. It's still crazy high, right? So clearly we still haven't got inflation under control if the goal is 2%, but yet we're at 8% right now. And you don't even know what the real interest rate or the real rate of inflation is, right? They don't even talk about like the real level of inflation. That's crazy, right? I mean, I'll talk about that tomorrow, actually, right? I was gonna go down a crazy rabbit hole with you guys, but I'm not gonna do it with y'all right now, right? We'll do that probably tomorrow, right? Because I was just gonna talk about the real rate of inflation, right? Because inflation, yeah, right here is. And like I said, I'm going to keep it surface level. I don't want to get too deep with this, right? But inflation right now, guys, is around that 8%, right? But that's 8% year over year, right? So what were last year, right? Because last year, and again, like I said, I'm not going to get too deep, right? But last year, again, whatever the number was, right? Say it was around 3%, 4%, 5%, whatever it is, right? The the real inflationary number, guys, is honestly way higher than what they're actually saying, right? Again, they're saying it's 8%, but that's year over year, right? That's 8% from last year to now. That's not counting the year before, the inflation that we had the year before, right? Because you got to start to combine, guys. Anything above that 2% is not really what they want to see, right? So you got to start to combine, you know, when we actually left that 2% number, right? When we were around that 3 to 4% inflation, and really start to combine all of that together, right? All the way up to right now. Because the real rate of inflation, guys, is much higher than what people are actually predicting, right? Or actually talking about. So that's something to just keep in mind. Again, like I said, I'm not going to go too deep into that. I could host like an entire class just around interest rates and how it's manipulated. But you know, I'll save that for the Profit Society masterclass sessions that we're going to host, right? But yeah, so that's what we got for tomorrow, guys. Very interesting. We will be live tomorrow, trading live. I know I'm going to be live tomorrow. Right, whether the team is on with me or not, I will be live tomorrow, guys, trading with this, you know, or at least watching this live, right? I don't want to say trading, you know, because then people are going to come on like, Abel, man, give me a signal, bro, right before news. No, right? So I'm not going to say trading, but we will be watching this live together, all right? Because I want to see what it actually comes out as and how the market reacts to that, all right? Because the reaction that we see, you know, could really tell us a lot. Okay, so yeah, be ready for that tomorrow, guys. 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will be live. I'll probably go live like around at 1:30, so around 30 minutes before, right? I will be live. So yeah, you know, I'll drop all the information in our telegrams as well. But that's what we got. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the markets, guys. Right, and I actually want to start off with a trade idea that I actually ended up just closing out. Right, so I'm not sure if the boy Christian is on the call, right? But me and Christian, we're actually looking at this in the Telegram. And this was a trade idea that we actually ended up calling out, guys, earlier today, right? On the New York session today. You know, I ended up calling out this trade, right? And it actually did pretty well. Now, I did end up closing my trade, right? I did end up closing my trade around 80 pips in profit. And I actually want to go ahead, and I didn't actually fill out my trading journal on purpose because I wanted you guys to, again, see exactly how it's done again, right? Because I know this morning, you know, I taught you guys, or not taught you guys, but I went over exactly how to use my trading journal. And I also showed you guys, you know, on this fresh account that I'm actually trading on, you know, the trades that I've taken so far this week. And I'm literally just breaking down, guys, and getting you guys in the habit now of actually starting to use this thing, right? You know, because every professional trader that I know actually utilizes a trading journal, right? At least the most profitably consistent ones, right? So I highly recommend you guys to do the same exact thing. So this is a trade idea that we actually talked about. You know, again, it was something that was called out earlier today. You know, it was a buy for GBPAUD. We ended up throwing only a 0.2 lot size, right? So $2 per pip. Our initial target was 115 pips. Our stop loss was negative 53 pips. You know, and yeah, now I'm actually going to be able to actually fill this out with you guys, right? So this is the before trade, right? This was the before when we actually decided to actually take the trade. And yeah, let's go ahead and fill out the after now, right? So let me go ahead and just take this trade. Like I said, I did end up closing profits, guys, up here. And the reason for this is because of where we were. You know, we were back up to levels of structure. And although I do believe we're going to continue bullish, you know, this level of structure right here, guys, really is going to probably hold weight, just like we're seeing right now. We're starting to see this pullback. So, you know, price does have a very good likelihood of actually coming back down to here. And I just didn't want to risk, you know, any of my profits, right? So that's just pretty much where we're at. But let's go ahead and just take this screenshot really, really quickly so I can have my before in this thing as well. All right, give me 1 second. Let me go ahead and just make it to where I can actually see it. Copy link to the chart. Go back to my journal and then paste. Bow. Okay. Now let's go ahead and just fill this out really, really quickly. Okay, GBPAUD, and I got a few setups, guys, I'm looking forward to as well for you guys tonight. So don't worry, I got y'all. All right, but let's see what we got here. So we ended up catching, what is this? Let's see. Let me do the math. Entry was right here, 7.245. We ended up taking profit at 1.800009. 1.800009. So that is around 84 pips, right? So we ended up grabbing 84 pips on this trade. All right, so let's go ahead and write this out. So we got 84, all right, 84 pips, not $84, 84 pippers. All right, Bow. Okay. Let's see the profit loss with commissions. Let's go ahead and do this really quick. We ended up profiting, guys. Again, it was only a 0.2. So we ended up profiting around $97.67. But this is adding the commission. Okay, so let's go ahead and add this with the commission, right? So we had profit of $97.67 minus $1.07 for commissions and minus 60 cents for the actual charges, right? The fees. And that comes out to around $96, guys, that we actually ended up profiting on this trade. All right, so let's go ahead and drop 96 bucks. And it's going to go ahead and update all of our totals. And if now, guys, we actually see what the overall account growth has been so far, you know, we ended up throwing around 3.7 lots already. We caught around 350 pips combined, right? 352 pips in total. Profit-wise, we're at around $1,197. So we're just shy of 6%, literally just shy of 6% right here. You know, so yeah, I mean, overall, guys, we're doing really good. You know, literally only been trading for the past, like, literally this week, right? So we're up around 6% already. And the coolest thing about this is, guys, right, is that every single trade that I've taken so far has all been a specific way, right? It's actually something that, again, I mean, it's the same thing that I've been teaching you guys for the longest now, all of my setups, you know, but we actually started to add something to our arsenal, right? And we started to add, you know, this tool right here on the screen, guys, which looks like some sideways volume bars, because that's exactly what it was, right? We actually utilized, you know, volume profile, right, to really help us identify, guys, that high area of volume, right? So if you guys see where our entry was, right, our entry was right here where the yellow circle was. Why do you think our entry was right there, right? Well, let's go ahead and break down exactly what we were looking for, right? Because I see you guys actually looking, you know, talking about why were you looking for that, Abel? Well, let's go ahead and break this down, right? I'm going to go ahead and erase everything first so I can show you guys from a technical perspective, and then we'll go from there, right? So looking at this right here, guys, right, overall, you know, what were we looking for, right? We seen the market come down to this level of support, right? We ended up running this support right here, all right? We ran the lows, and then we just started to create some structure, guys, some price action that, I mean, it's pretty much telling us that this thing is about to at least turn around, right? Look at these. We started to create all these lows, and then we turned around and started creating these highs, right? Not only that, but the thing that really called my attention, guys, and forced me to, or, you know, told me to look at this position was what we did, right? We ended up having, again, this low down here. Just look at the reaction here, right? We seen the market run this little low right here, right? This short low right here, right? With this wick. You see this wick right here that spiked below the support? And you line that up with this level of demand down here, right? So that support, that break of support, right? That grab of liquidity followed by the reaction, right? So again, I didn't catch the trade anywhere. I didn't catch none of this, right? And I don't care for that. Because all this did right here, this move is pretty much just telling us what to expect moving forward, right? So we seen this move right here, guys, this bullishness come in. And I'm like, okay, that's cool, right? I think there's a good chance that we make our way up to these levels, probably even higher. On a pullback, let's go ahead and look for that continuation. It was that simple, right? So I was reading price action here, guys, on the lower time frame. Look at how price just started to slow down. And then we started to see, again, bullish volume come in. So once we seen that break of structure, or AKA that change of character, right, all we had to do was wait for that pullback. And that's what we did, right? We waited for the pullback, and then we ended up taking the trade. But remember what I said, right? We went a little bit more deeper than just that, right? Just that alone, you guys should have been able to take the trade, right? Just off of that alone, right? Literally just identifying the change of character, the pullback, and then that continuation. But what we also added, guys, was, again, the volume profile tool, right? And what we want to do, or at least what we did last night, or at least this morning, I'm tripping, right? What we did this morning was all we did, right, was on this pullback right here. Let me actually go ahead and show you guys this, right? On this pullback, okay, on this pullback right here, right? Remember, this is the big impulsive move. This is the pullback. So on the pullback, all we did was locate high levels of volume, right? High areas of volume. That's all we did. High areas of volume, right? If we see what these red lines are here, guys, right? These red lines, they are considered a point of control, AKA the highest level of volume for that specific range that this indicator is actually measuring, right? And there's two of them on right now, by the way, right? I'm gonna take one off real quick, right? Just so you guys can see this black and white one. But the point of control is the red line, and that is where most of the volume occurred from the start of the indicator all the way to current price right now. Right? So literally this entire range right here, this entire block, right? Again, from where the indicator starts moving forward, that was the highest level of volume. And it was, guys, even before. I mean, let's go back. Let's use the replay tool real quick, right? Let's just go back to what we were looking at when we actually decided to go ahead and keep our eye on it. Okay, because when we were looking at it earlier, guys, we were looking at it and we also had that point of control, right? I was looking at it from the 30-minute point of control, and it looked very interesting, right? So 30-minute point of control, that red line. So that's what we were looking for. Then all we did right there, all we did next, okay? All we did was now locate our entry, right? We knew that this area right here was a point of control level, right? A little bit. I mean, let me just go ahead and use this. Our area of control was up here where I put my entry, right? I get it. We have one down here, guys, but this is a little bit of a smaller one. Yes, price could have reached down to this one, which is why my stop was below down here, right? But yeah, all we did now is we looked for an area of imbalance, which we had right here, right? We had this imbalance, and we just targeted the imbalance fill, and then we took the trade. That's all I did, right? It's not too complicated. Obviously, it's easy for me to say it's not too complicated just because I have a lot of years of experience, but I promise you, right, it's really not too complicated, right? When you understand what the market is doing, right, what the flow of the market is doing, and then you identify these changes of character, all you got to do is just align yourself with most of the volume. Where is the volume at? Like I said, this was also a consideration down here. The reason why I didn't take this one was because we had the 30-minute one up here. The 30-minute one holds more weight. And just because we had this little bit of imbalance right here, you know, that's why we pretty much ended up targeting. I mean, we could play this in real time right now just so you guys can see how it played out. But yeah, you know, we ended up getting filled. You know, I mean, price took a little bit of time, guys, for it to actually move, right? Like we were sitting in this since, I mean, earlier, right? We were sitting in this since way earlier. Since way earlier, right? So we were literally sitting this entire day just being patient. But look, as you can see, you know, it started to move. It was going slow, but it finally started to make its move, guys. So that was literally the beginning to the end of this entire setup, guys, that we spoke about this morning. And the cool thing about it is, like, this is somebody that actually recommended, right? I can't remember who actually recommended for me to actually analyze it. But whoever it was, whoever told me to look at GA, I appreciate you, you know, because you just definitely paid some of my bills. You just definitely paid some of my bills, right? So I appreciate you for that. I can't remember who it was, man, but big shout out to you. It might have been Christian, actually. I don't know. All right, but shout out to, you know, anybody that did end up taking that, guy. So that was a banger. That's pretty much like the one trade that I ended up taking. There was a bunch of setups, guys, that we analyzed earlier in the morning, right, during New York session that, you know, we really wanted to take, but the market just, I mean, if we're being honest, the market just left without us, right? Like GJ was, you know, super juicy, right? GJ was super juicy this morning, right? We were looking for the short, you know, it missed my specific entry by around 5 to 10 pips, right? So we did not end up taking advantage of that. Gold, same thing. We were looking for, you know, some shorts on gold as well, you know, somewhere a little bit higher, you know, again, didn't really reach us, ended up dropping, you know, right back down, you know. So there was a few setups, guys, that, again, I just wasn't able to take. So that GA is pretty much the only thing that, I mean, we can see the spreadsheet, right? Everything is documented right now, right? So this one was the only one that I actually ended up playing, right? We had the GJ buy limit, but I did end up canceling it just because I didn't like what I was seeing. But, yeah, so that's where we're at. You know, just a quick recap, guys, for everybody that wasn't a live session, so you guys can pretty much know where I'm at. Now, I do want to bring up GCAD, right? Because, again, I see a few guys still talking about it. And GCAD, guys, if you guys remember GCAD, who remembers GCAD? Who remembers GCAD, right? Because we were talking about GCAD last week, right? I don't know. I can't remember. Again, I'm going to be honest. I'm horrible when it comes to memorizing who calls what, right? So y'all got to bear with me, right? But somebody had told me to analyze GCAD last week, which I did. And I told you guys that this has a potential for like a big boy move, right? Like this has the potential, guys, for, 1,000+ pip trade, in my opinion, right? 1,000+ pips, in my opinion. All right. So everybody was excited about it. Everybody was hyped up about it. And for those of you guys, you know, that did take it, if you guys took it, I mean, look at this thing. All right, big shout out to you, Eric. It probably was you, right? Big shout out to you, Eric. Right, but yeah, look at this thing. Guys, that's a drop right there, right? That's a drop, right? Literally from where we said price can, like we said this. We said I wouldn't be surprised, and I might have to look at the YouTube video as well, right? Because I believe we spoke about it on YouTube, so everything is recorded. But I said I would not be surprised if this thing ended up turning around. And it ended up dropping, guys, 200 pips so far. All right, 200 pips. And I'm still very much expecting continuations for GCAD. All right, I want to see lower pricing, and lower pricing, right? So I'm a big fan, guys, of seeing this level ultimately go ahead and get ran. Like, if we can go ahead and run these lows, then that will be pretty amazing, right? But I think that there is a good chance for us to do that. Now, for those of you guys who are trying to wonder, okay, well, that's cool, Abel, but how do we get involved? Well, let's go ahead and bring in our actually, let's just keep it simple for right now, right? And then we can go ahead and bring in our volume profile to see if there's anything that does line up, right? So we do have, again, this level of structure, guys, that has pretty much been, I mean, a very interesting level that the market has just continuously respected in the past, right? Now, what I would like to see, personally speaking, guys, for GCAD, I do want to see price possibly come back up, probably retest back up into these levels up here, possibly even come and fill this wick, you know, this big old wick that we have here. You know, there is a possibility for price to come up to fill that wick, but then I'll go bearish, right? Then I'll go ahead and look for some continuations to the downside, right? If we want a specific area, I would like to go ahead and look for, you know, the market to give us a reaction around this level. Where am I? Come on. Right? I would love to see the market come up to here, right? Up into these levels, right? So around that 1.75, 1.752, right? That could be an area, guys, where we do look for some more continuations here on GCAD, right? So that's just from that perspective. Now let's go ahead and add our volume profiles and see where the volume truly is located, right? Let's see where all the volume is and see if there's anything that we can identify, right? So again, we do have two of them on. I'm actually going to just take off one of them, just keep the one that has all these ones, right? And let's actually start to look for, guys, high areas of volume. Okay, again, my objective, at least from me, from a technical perspective, I would like to look for some shorts from up here. Now, what we have to do is we have to actually look at these high levels of volume and see if it actually makes sense for us to do that. All right, so the closest level of volume, or at least the closest red line, guys, that we can see here, at least close to that level of structure, is going to be up here. All right, this red line right here is probably going to be the one that we're probably most attracted to. Right, so although I was looking for price to come up to here, I wouldn't be surprised now, because again, I'm aligning myself, guys, with the volume, right? Where was the most volume at when we're looking at this specific range, right? We're looking at just this little range right here. There was the most volume there. So that could act as an area of resistance, right? If we had a lot of volume in the past around this level, chances are we have a lot of volume in the future around that level. So if we are able to see price, guys, come back up to this 1.574 level, 1.575, then I think that will be a very interesting level to go ahead and look for some continuations here. All right, I truly think that could be a very attractive level for sure. Right, and again, I'm just using these points of contact, or these points of control, right? These points of control, guys, that have shown in the past. Now I'm gonna go ahead and bring in the other one as well and just go to a few different time frames, right, to see if something does line up in those levels. So we do have a bunch of, like, look at all the points of control right here, right? Like, clearly a lot of volume, guys, is entering the markets down here at these lows. A lot of volume, right? We can see that. Now, what type of volume is this? Buying volume or is it selling volume? I mean, for right now, it's definitely holding its way for it to seem like we want to go bullish, right? Or at least back up to the upside. Just looking how we're playing, right? Again, look at all the volume is down here. But what is structure doing? All right, we're going up. Right, we're going up. We're creating these lows, creating these higher lows, these little short higher lows. So yeah, I think we are gonna pull back higher. But like I said, I want to actually continue going to higher time frame and see what we got. I mean, this level is this is a super high volume level that we're actually currently at right now. Let me see what else we got here. Yeah, that is a very strong level actually, guys, right? Very strong level. Yeah, I'm still interested though in the sell from up here. All right, I like that level, and I think we will eventually run this level. But yeah, I'm still gonna be expecting price to come up to here, guys, right? But overall, I do think we will eventually see this thing run over. All right, I do think we will eventually see this thing run over. But if we look at it from the 1 hour time frame, man, if for whatever reason, guys, on this 1 hour time frame, because I'm looking at this on the 1 hour, we're on the point of control right here on the 1 hour, which clearly shows that most of the volume from this range literally is at this level. So if we actually engulf this level right here on this 1 hour candle, right, which closes in about 15 minutes, if for whatever reason we can actually engulf this level, do not be surprised if price actually just continues from there. All right, I would like to see price come up to these levels up here just because it's going to give you a far better risk reward. Right, I'll be in premium pricing, which is what I like to get into when we're looking for sales. But I also won't be surprised, again, depending on how we react off of here, if we engulf this, which I don't think is going to happen in the next 15 minutes, right? But if whatever we did, then I would actually consider taking that short from right off from these levels. All right, but again, I'm going to be patient. I'm going to keep my eyes on this, 1.573, 1.574 level. If we're able to see price get up there, then we'll go ahead and take advantage of it for sure, right? But it looks juicy, guys. I'm still very much bearish. It's just a matter of being patient now, all right, and letting the market come to us. All right, let me go ahead and catch up with a few of these comments, right? Because I know I definitely missed out on a bunch of them. All right, so let's see what we got here. Big shout out to all you guys that are liking the video. I see we got 50 plus likes as well. Continue to like the video, guys, if you guys are getting some type of value. It definitely does a lot for me, and I appreciate you guys for doing that. Let's see. Still expecting hawkish move from the Fed. My only concern is how's the market going to react to those data, cause the rumors has pumped the price to start of the week. I mean, yeah, it's a lot to definitely think about when it comes to the Fed. I truly believe they're going to still remain hawkish, but we do have to just keep in mind, guys, it is the end of the year, right? Q4, although the Fed could be hawkish, a lot of other factors can really shift sentiment as well, right? So that's interesting. Let me see. Going to start of the year, there's rumors about stimulus checks. That's going to be interesting. That's going to be interesting. Let's see. Only say they're hiring so they don't have to give that COVID money back here, right? I'm much more interested. Yep. Be more late to the class. Bert. What's going on, Bert? Appreciate you, my brother, for showing up and tuning in. Let's see. Not a bad thing to lower the rate. The rate increases need time to work through the economy. That's true, Michael. Right? That is true. Let's see. How do I join a private society? I mean, the website is still technically down. We can go ahead and just quickly look at this. All right, yeah, it's still technically down right now. We're still working on that, getting it back up and running for you guys by the morning. So you can't do it just yet. Let's see. Do you have any funded accounts? So I do have a funded account, and I also have personal accounts. All right, I'm blessed enough now, to have enough capital, guys, to where I can use my own capital to trade with. But the reason why I do like doing these funded accounts is just for, I don't want to say ego, right? But it's just for the title, right? It's a dope thing when you can say that I'm a FTMO funded trader, right? I'm a My Forex Funds funded trader, right? Even though it's happened in the past for me, I like to keep it, right? I like to maintain it. And if I'm being honest with you guys, right, anytime I do like to show you guys like the ins and outs of what my trades are, more times than not, that's usually a funded account, right? More times than not, you're rarely going to see my personal account because that's none of y'all business, right? That's just, and I say that the nicest way possible, right? But that's nothing for you guys to be aware about. That's just for me and for me to know, right? So anytime I do show anything, it's usually a funded account that I'm showing just because it's safer for me to do that way. All right, but let's see what else we got here. Hey, boy, I can't find your videos on Go Live. Man, the Book of David, you are definitely a little bit late, my brother. My videos have gotten deleted back in February. All right, so yeah, you're not going to find those. Can I please snapshot your settings on the volume profile? So for the most part, these are, I'm not going to say default, right? So this is my settings here, guys, for volume profile. Number of bars is at 192. The row size is 100. Value area is 70. Okay, I'll keep that up a second. And both of these are going to be a little bit different in terms of settings. This one right here that you guys are seeing is the black and white, and this is specifically only looking at 192 bars. Why 192 bars? Because, I mean, I usually analyze the market a lot on the 15, and 192 bars is 2 full days, all right? So that's why I like to analyze that, and that's why I got 192 bars. But like I said, the other one is also going to be a little bit different, right? A little bit different. And that's because that one is based off specific sessions, right? It's literally session to session to session. All right, let's see. Will you be sending signals in your training community? I mean, we don't send directs. I mean, we do send signals, you know, but I don't. We will, right? To answer your question, yes, we will, right? Just to keep it simple. Let's see. Do you have to pay to use volume profile and trading view? Not necessarily, right? All these should be free. All right. All you got to do is type in volume profile, right? The ones that I use is this one. Either of these ones all work, right? But I have this one on my screen, the session volume profile, and this top one, right? Volume profile fixed range. Those are the two that I currently have, right? Volume profile fixed range and session volume profile. And those should be free. As far as I know, they're free. Let's see. What's my full margin signal? I got you. I have a question. Do you respect the trader who catches 100 pips with small lot size or the trader who over risks and closes 20 pips? I can't respect anybody that's over leveraging. I just can't, right? Just because, again, I know that is not something that's going to help them be here long term, right? So I can't respect that, right? I'll respect the trader that's, growing their account by 1% a week, right? Listen to me close. I respect the trader that's growing their account by 1% a week, but they're practicing all the rules, following all the rules, practicing proper risk management, and they're still growing their account, as opposed to the trader that comes in and tries to flip it. In fact, like, there are actually, I'm pretty sure some of you guys probably remember, right? But at the beginning of me doing this, guys, at the beginning of the year, when I started actually doing these live streams, there was always a lot of traders that would come on and be like, Abel, man, I turned $50 into 100, all right? Things like that. And what would I always do? I'd be like, man, yo, congratulations, right? Big shout out to you, but don't do it again, right? Because that's not impressive to me. That's not going to impress me, right? And you could tell that they were saying to try to get some type of, like, impression, but that's not going to impress me. You flipping your account is not an impression to me. That's nothing, right? Anybody could do that. You have a 50-50 chance of being correct, right? So you can over leverage on one trade and have a 50-50 chance of winning on that trade. That doesn't mean anything. There's no skill involved. There's no talent involved. There's no discipline involved. So that's not impressive. Being impressive is actually following your rules, right? Actually risking 1 to 2% every trade, right? Growing your account slowly but consistently that's impressive, right? Because 99% of traders, guys, are over leveraging. That's why it's not impressive. Everybody's over leveraging, right? So if you just grew your account, flipped it, cool. Join the boat. There's a lot of other traders like you. But just like all the other traders that flip their account, you're probably going to end up blowing it too, right? So, I mean, that's just a lot of a long rant on that, right? But that's just my thoughts on that, right? It takes no skill to actually flip your account, believe it or not. But it takes skill to grow your account consistently long term. So, yeah, that's where we're at with that. Let's see what else we got here. Thanks for easily explaining the fundamentals and how it ties into the charts. You are def on point, Abel. I appreciate that, Vaughn. Right, I'm definitely trying my best to give you guys some real value for sure. Do you only trade during sessions or during seasons? Do you only trade during seasons? What do you mean by that? Do you only trade during seasons? Yeah, could you explain what you mean by that, Anthony? Because I'm a little confused. Let's see. Respect, bro. Love the mindset nuggets throughout these calls. I appreciate y'all. All right, so that's where we at, guys. Just another quick update on GCAD. Again, this thing is absolutely on fire, doing its thing. But let's go and take a look at a few ideas, guys, that I'm going to be looking for going into tonight. Now, one of them being this GJ, right? So I'm still very much bullish GJ, guys, long term, right? I've been bullish GJ for a while now, and I'm still very much bullish it. I would love to see price continue to go higher and higher and higher, right? So now I'm over here just looking at seeing what the market can do, right? I'm looking at what the market is doing and what it could potentially do. And I was genuinely looking at this area down here, guys, to see what we can actually get from, right? Because this area down here of support, or AKA of supply, right, is a very interesting level. This level right here, guys, is clearly where the market, I mean, the buyers really came in last time there. We can see that. Just look at price, right? If smart money never entered this market down here, then price will not be up there, right? Price will be lower, right? So just keep that in mind, guys, right? Don't overcomplicate these supply and demand zones. Don't overcomplicate where smart money could be hiding. I get it. You guys are more so looking at that sniper entry, which is why you guys probably overcomplicate things, right? But stop trying to focus on those crazy sniper entries right now, right? Focus on getting some good entries, quality entries that make sense. Who cares about the drawdown? And then let that trade do its thing, right? So overall, yeah, I'm very interested to see how we play out around these levels. You know, price could absolutely just smack this stop loss right here, but I'm going to be keeping my eyes on this one. Right, I'm going to be keeping my eyes on this, guys. If I do take this trade, okay, if I do, which again, I'm not in anything right now. This is the actual trade, guys, that I actually ended up deleting, right? As you can see, trade canceled. This was the actual setup that I ended up canceling. Just because when I canceled it earlier, I didn't think we were coming down here, right? When I canceled it earlier, guys, price was still up here, right? So I was thinking it wasn't going to get down there. I was thinking maybe something like that was going to happen, right? So I ended up canceling it and deleted the pending order. But I will keep my eyes on this, all right? I'm very interested to see how this plays out. There is a possible chance that we do end up going bullish off of here, right? And let me go ahead and see what we got here. Let me go ahead and see if I can bring up some of these indicators, right, to see where we can find, see if we can find any type of volume, right, that can really help us out. All right, so we do have some type of volume down here, guys, right? Look at these red bars down here, right? You know, we clearly had a lot of buying, a lot of volume down here, right? And now that volume ended up turning into what? Buying volume. How do we know? The market went bullish. It's that simple, right? The market went bullish, right? After all of this accumulation of volume right here, right, where we have 2 sessions back to back, where most of the volume is down here, this thing ended up flying. So clearly all of that volume, guys, was just preparing itself for a bullish run. So if, which I think is possible, if we are going to go back on another bull run, then it's probably going to be down here at these levels, right? So I'm very interested. I'm actually going to make my stop loss a little bit tighter, right? And I'm only going to be risking 1% on this trade, right? Like, I'm not going to risk no more than 1% on this trade, right? Just because. I'm not going to over leverage. I'm not going to go crazy on it, right? So I'm only going to be risking 1%, guys. But I do think that there is a possibility for price to really spike into this level and then go ahead and give us a nice bullish reaction off of that, right? So I'm going to keep my eyes on this. You know, if we can see something like that, that would be pretty dope. Like I said, I am going to keep it on the radar. In fact, I'm actually going to go ahead and uncancel this trade. All right, thank God I run this spreadsheet, right? But I'm about to uncancel this trade, and I'm just going to adjust it now to line up with my new perimeters, so we can see pretty much exactly what we could get. Right now, I'm not going to target all the way back up to the highs. I mean, I do think we could go back up there because I am ultimately bullish, but I'm probably just going to target right back up to, say, around, I would say this level right here, around 140 pips. Why that level? Because I'm looking at structure to the left. Right, I'm always looking at structure to the left, guys. When it comes to stop loss placement, when it comes to target levels, like, I'm always looking at structure to the left. Right, we have this level right here. Bow. Right, I'm gonna make this yellow so it's bright. All right, so yeah, if we come back up to here again, there's always that chance for price to react. So I don't want to ride it no more farther than that. Right, so now we have our setup here, guys. Right, a 4-to-1 risk to reward. So that is absolutely amazing. Risking around 1% to go for 4% gains. Risking 2% to go for 8% gains, so on and so forth, right? So it does look very, very good here. Now let's go ahead and fill out the spreadsheet and make sure that it does line up, right? So we're risking 34 pips, going for 140. All right, so let's see. Yep, we're still going for 140. We're risking 34 pips now for this one, so 34 pippers. Right, it is going to, yeah, we could actually set the buy limit. That's fine, right? I'll actually set the buy limit right now as we speak as well. Give me 1 segundo. Let me make sure I'm doing this. And I'm going to be doing that a lot more, guys, right? Because the only thing that, like, I would say is a downfall of being a mentor or a quote-unquote teacher is that you analyze so much stuff that you miss out on so much stuff, right? Because you're doing so many different markups, analyzing so many different pairs that you completely overlook a lot of the ones that you initially analyzed that look pretty good, right? So let me go ahead and just handle this real quick. All right, so entry round, what is this? 169, 200. 169, 200, yeah. Let's see, perfect. Stop loss. Going to be back down near these lows, 168.855. Perfect. Target is at 170.600. All right, perfect. All right, so that is officially set. And now, yeah, we'll see what the market does. All right, we'll let that play out. All right, so like I said, let me go ahead and just make sure that this is good. right? Buy limit. Yes, we are actually taking this during Asian session now, not during London, during Asian session. Buy limit. We're actually doing, we actually lowered the risk a little bit, 0.3 lot size. Nope, let me go ahead and erase that. Let me take the new screenshots, the before. All right, so here we go, before, copy link. Let me go ahead and paste the link in there. Bow, now we have the before. Let me go ahead and just finish this. My little notes here. I want to see a bullish reaction now around just literally 10 pips lower. And then, yeah. So now, hopefully, depending, I mean, we're obviously going to know what happens by the morning time, right? So hopefully it's positive. But either way, you know, I'll come back and I'll update exactly the outcome in terms of pips, dollar amount, percentage, and all that good stuff, right? But yeah. All right, so that's where we're at, guys, for GJ. Let's see what else we have here. Are you expecting the Bank of Japan intervention soon? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. At this point, those interventions are more so just to, I don't even know how to explain it, right? Because obviously they're trying to intervene right now to try to get some type of strength back into their currency, you know, because the yen has been absolutely disgusting the entire year, been getting destroyed. And that just has to do with the Bank of Japan's policies, right? Their policies are not promoting for a stronger currency at all, right? So they're trying to do it. Now, even if they do intervene, I don't care for those interventions, right? Like, I get it. Those interventions, guys, are showing some obviously some weakness, right? Which we seen here. This was the last intervention we seen right there, right? That big drop. But that ain't the first time they intervened, right? They intervened right here in the past. Right here was the last intervention, right? And this one was the most recent one. Now, I think this one is going a lot more slower, right? But I believe, guys, this intervention is definitely eventually going to get erased, right? So I'm bullish, right? So now that we're actually on USD JPY, right? I'm bullish this, right? I'm bullish. I think this intervention right here that we've seen is going to be just like this one that gets erased, right? And even if they do intervene again, same concept. Unless they change their actual stance, guys, and unless they actually become hawkish, I'm not buying any of these interventions, right? These interventions are giving me opportunities to look for some long positions, right? So that's my thoughts on it. You know, they're literally doing what they're trying to do right now with these interventions, guys, is literally counterintuitive to what they're already doing with their policies, right? The Bank of Japan is an interesting breed, okay? Like, really just think about this. The Bank of Japan is what we are considered easing, right? You know, their rates are negative, right? So they want people to spend money. They want people to go ahead and borrow money. They want people to go ahead and put money into circulation. And we can see that based off their interest rate. If they didn't want people spending money, if they didn't want to promote, you know, lending and borrowing and spending and all this good stuff, then they would raise rates like everybody else. But they're not. They're keeping their rates at negative. They're still at -10. So what is an intervention going to do when you're still technically easing and you're still technically printing? And I even read an article, right, that said that the Bank of Japan is even thinking about doing something with stimulus. How does that make sense? Right? It makes no sense, right? So the Bank of Japan is an interesting breed, right? And I'm not buying anything that they're selling. So me personally, I like the continuations. I like bullishness. I'm still bullish, and if I'm wrong on this, it is what it is, right? I really don't care about being wrong. And that's one thing you guys gotta like really get comfortable with, family, right? Like, who cares if you're right or wrong in the markets? Now, again, I get it. Abel, bro, you have 8 years of trading, bro. It's easier for you to say. I get it, right? Trust me, I do. But I'm also talking about from experience, right? Because all these headaches that you're getting, right? All these gray hairs that you're growing because you're so worried about a win or a loss, you're gonna laugh at. You're going to laugh at in a few years when you're actually profiting. You're going to be like, damn, why was I stressing so much over that? Like, damn, I really got some gray hairs over this. Right? So I get it. It's definitely easier said than done. But once you are profiting, you're going to look back and be like, damn, I was really doing all that for no reason. Right? So, yeah, I don't care about losing, guys. Right? And I say that publicly. I'll say that in front of you guys. I'll say that in front of the best traders in the world because they're also going to say the same thing. They don't care about losing. And once you guys get to a point when you don't care about losing, watch how things change. And not just losing, all right? I don't care about winning or losing. I don't care about the outcome of the trade. The outcome of the trade is none of my business, Let me say that one more time. This is a gem. This is a nugget that's going over a lot of your guys' heads. Right? I do not care about the outcome of the trades. Why? Why don't I care about them? Family, who knows in the chat? Right? I know we got some OGs in the chat that know exactly why. It makes no sense. Why it doesn't make sense to actually worry about the outcomes of the trade, but I want to see who actually knows. And it's very simple. Right? But who knows? Why does it not matter the outcome of the trade? Does anybody know? Let's see. Let's see. Looking at the new indicators on US 30, what do you think about sell-off from recent high? Volume says it's a good area. I'll look at it. I'll look at it, Alexis. I got you. I'll definitely look at that. Right, but guys, the whole reason why I don't care about the outcome is because that is an uncontrollable measure. Right? The people that focus on the uncontrollables are the ones that never get the results because they're focused on the things that they can't control. The outcome of the trade is something that none of us have control over. We can't jump into the market, guys, and just magically move price in our direction. We don't do that. We don't have the power. We don't have enough money. Right? So the outcome of the trade is irrelevant to all of us because that's an uncontrollable thing. What we need to do as traders is focus on the things that we can control. That's what we need to focus on. The outcome, we can't focus on it. We can focus on the input, right? We can focus on the input, like the process, like finding the setup, right? Finding the opportunity, right? Figuring out where we're going to enter, figuring out our risk, our stop loss, like those things we can control. Our mindset, those things we can control. But the outcome, we can't control the outcome, right? So why am I going to stress about something that I cannot control? I can control the setup that I'm looking at and following my rules. That's what I can control, following my rules. And if I follow my rules the way that I expect it to, then I should be profitable. Why? Because I backtested my strategy countless hours, right? I've done it so many times, right? So I know that it's a profitable strategy. So if I know I have a profitable strategy in my hand, I don't care about the outcome. Me caring about the outcome is only going to add stress to my whole trading. And that's not what I do. Right? So that's just a little tip, guys. And I get it. Like I said, I trust me. I was in your guys' positions. Easier said than done, but trust me. Stop focusing on the outcome. Focus on the input. Focus on what you can control, and watch your results start to load up. All right, so let's see what else we got here. So yeah, for UJ though, right? UJ looks very interesting, guys. Right? I'm very interested in seeing a potential play from down here at these levels. Right? I'm very interested in it, right? So if we can see price come all the way back down to these lows, then I will be very interested, guys, and look for some bullishness back to the upside. Right? Just looking at where a lot of this last lower volume is at, I think that's where we're really going to start to reach. And then, from there, we should, in my opinion, start to experience higher pricing. Right? So this can be an opportunity, guys, that you guys could start to keep your eyes on. Right? And we're talking about this can be an absolute banger of a trade, right? Because we're going to be targeting around this 153.236 level. Why are we targeting this 153 point, this level up here, 153.236? Or yeah, why are we targeting it? It's because we're looking at structure to the left, right? We're on the bigger time frame here, right? Higher time frame. And I'm just looking at evidence, guys, of what happened in the past here, and that's where I really want to go ahead and target, right? So yeah, it looks very juicy. If we get all the way up to this level that I'm talking about, that's an 8-to-1 risk to reward. If we don't want to be that crazy, right, then we can target just right back up to these highs, right? And even that's still a 6.41 risk to reward to 1, right? So if we're risking 1%, we're going for 6% gains, right? In fact, it's a little bit over 6%. If we're risking 2%, which is the max I ever risk, we're going for 12% gains, right? Over 12%, okay? It looks good. Keep your eyes on this one. I'm going to keep my eyes on it, right? Now, again, keep in mind, we do have news tomorrow. So, that's definitely something to be aware of, right? That FOMC is no joke. That federal funds rate decision is no joke. But overall, from a technical perspective, guys, I think this looks very good right here, right? So, I'll be looking for buys down here at around this 146.200 level for UJ. All right, let's go ahead and see what we got here. You had said, let me see, look at the new US 30. Yeah, let's go take a look at Dirty 30, right? Dirty 30. All right, so looking at US 30, guys, let's see, you saying, what did you say? You think about a sell-off from the recent high. Volume says it's a good area, right? So there's actually a few different areas right now that obviously the indicator is coming up, right? But I'm actually going to add the other one as well. Where did my other one go? Actually, did I delete it? Let's go ahead and add this one back in, right? Yeah, so I'm looking at this now, right? I'm combining both of them just because, again, both of them do measure different things. But right here where price is currently at, there is a lot of volume right here, right? We have the bigger volume, but we also even have this one right here, right? So there is actually a lot of volume at this level right here. Is it possible for price to actually start going bearish from this level? I mean, I'm not going to say no, right? It is possible, okay? It is possible. I'm not going to take it, though. I don't trade the indices, guys, out of session, right? I really only like to trade the indices somewhat near New York session, right? But that is a very interesting level that we're currently at right now. Clearly, there's a lot of volume behind this level right here. A lot of volume. Now, the other area, which is what I would like to see, actually, like my main objective, I would love to see if price can come back up into these areas, though, right? We do have a lot of volume right here, but that's not an area that I'll be genuinely interested in, right? Unless we see something like this, like a break of structure, something like that, right? Then I might be, after something like that, then maybe, right? But until then, no. I think up here will be a lot more of an interesting opportunity, right? So if we can see US 30 come up into this range, then I think we could experience lower pricing. You know, we do have some imbalance all throughout here, guys, that we do have to go ahead and fill. I mean, we do have a high level of volume down here at these lows, which we could probably target. So yeah, this is not a bad play. You know, if we can get a push back up here, that would be pretty juicy. So again, just to reiterate, it's either we're going to be looking for the sell from up here at this level, or if price breaks structure, I don't want to use that tool. If price breaks structure and then we pull back up towards that point of control, then that can also lead to a potential play. But I'm not taking this one unless we see some type of a break of structure, right? I need some evidence, all right, giving us that opportunity to go lower. If we don't get that, then we're most likely going to go bullish, and then I'll look for that trade from up here, guys. So look to go ahead and go short. I think it looks good. I think it looks juicy. Like I said, we'll have to really analyze it, guys, tomorrow morning during New York session to see what US 30 is at during New York session. But overall, yeah, you know, that's what I'll be looking at from up here. Let's see. What do you think about using divergence with smart money concepts, supply and demand? I mean, yeah, it could work, right? It definitely could be a banger. You know, as long as it works for you, right? As long as you can make it work for anybody, right? Yeah. You know, I mean, it could be a very good thing, you know, adding that divergence with some smart money and supply and demand. Yeah, do your thing. Let's see. So your October 12th Telegram notice about using 5 to 8% leverage was not tongue-in-cheek. I'm not sure what you mean by that. You said October 12th. What did I say October 12th? I say a lot of things, but let me see. What did I say October 12th? So we can get some clarity. And I'm going back in my Telegram to see what happened October 12th. GJ with the recovery. Let's see. Yeah, I can't find anything on that. Just explain a little bit more, Michael, and I could definitely give that. That trading plan, need parts. Matter of fact, I'm going to give you guys this trading plan. I've been giving it to everybody just because I'm a good guy. All right, so here you go. Family, here is the trading plan so you guys can have it. Definitely go ahead and utilize it. What you will need to do, though, all right, what you will need to do, you're going to have to go to the trading plan, and you're going to have to make a copy if you want to actually use it, all right? Because right now you're not going to be able to edit it, right? But if you go to make a copy in the file, you'll be able to make a copy of it, and then you'll be able to go ahead and edit it. Because if you see it right now, you're going to see everything that I'm seeing right now. You're going to see all of my markups, all of my ideas, all of my trades, right? I mean, even if you have access to this link, guys, you guys will forever see all of my trades, right? So that's just a little, if you guys want to keep a track of how I'm doing with this specific account, just keep access to this spreadsheet. Right, but yeah, you know, this one right here, again, just make your own copy, and then erase everything and then go ahead and do what you do. All right, let's see what else we got here. Trying to catch up. NASDAQ, yep, I'll look at that. Is the trading journal free? I write them down, but I rather than, yeah, it's free, right? Anybody could get this. Let's see, can you look at NAS? Yep. Can you share your SVP all indicator? Yeah, I mean, this indicator right here is just this one, right? The session volume profile HD, right? That's all that. So type in these words, session volume profile, and then it should come up, right? There's actually going to be two of them, right? It's going to be one without the HD, and then there's going to be one with the HD, right? I just took the one with HD because everything in my life is HD, right? High definition. So, but yeah, this is the one I'm using right here. Let's see, risk management, and the market is going to do what it does. Exactly. You have no control over it if it's a winner. There we go, Kyle. That was the answer I was looking for. I knew Kyle would get it. All right, shout out to you, Kyle. Let's see, where did you get the class to analyze fundamentals? All right, so it's just been me putting in the work. All right, like, it's not no specific class that I've attended to. It's just me watching other traders, me watching analysts, me actually doing my research, like actually going in and figuring out exactly what the consumer price index is, right? I tried to go in depth with understanding how interest rates affect these markets, how interest rates is going to affect the currencies, right? What PMI index is, right? The purchasing managers index, right? I actually took time to go in depth with learning this stuff, right? So that's literally the only reason why I'm actually understanding it. It's because I took time to learn it, all right? So I went to YouTube University, I went to Bloomberg TV, I went to CNN Business, Fox Business, right? Like I went to all these different states. I went to various YouTube channels, and yeah, right. So that's how I did it. Let's see. Any thoughts on NZD USD? Yeah, we can take a look at that as well. So let's go ahead and take a look at NAS, guys, since a few of you guys are very interested in that. And it's probably going to look similar to what US 30 is looking like. And it pretty much is. But, like, look at this level, guys, right? Again, so I think we could see lower pricing here for NAS. I could be wrong. But I do think that. Right? So if we are going to be looking for some lower pricing for NAS, again, price could realistically just sell off from right here. Right? It could. But I don't care. I'm not interested in shorting NAS down here. Why? Because if I start to short NAS down here, right, I'm selling at discounted prices, right? And when I'm saying discounted price, but I'm looking at my range. This right here is my trading range. And if I'm looking for a sell, I don't ever sell things at a discount. I mean, just think about life. If you guys had a garage sale tomorrow, right, and you purchase your favorite baseball bat for, let's just say, $100, and times got tough, or not even times got tough, right? Let's just say you purchase a baseball bat for $100 and you want to sell it. If you just purchased a bat for $100, are you going to sell it for a discount, even though you just bought it at that price? Are you going to sell it for lower than 100, or are you going to try to sell it for a higher price, a premium? You're going to sell it for a premium, right? Because you guys are all entrepreneurs and hustlers like I am, right? So same concept with trading. I don't want to be selling down here, right? I want to be selling at a premium, right? I don't like NAS at 11,300. I think NAS is more attractive at 11,400, 500. Right? Because now we're getting into premium price levels compared to our range. So I don't care if price does sell off. I'm not interested from right there, like, at all. But what I am interested is if we pull back. Why? Because if we pull back, man, we can have a very decent opportunity up here. I mean, we definitely got to just keep our eyes on this point of interest right here, this point of control. Why? Because look at how many times this level right here, guys, that I'm highlighting, right, has been a session or an area where the volume was the most. Like, look at all these times, right? The volume was the most right around this level, right at this point of control. So if price does come back up to here, what is the likelihood of price actually respecting that level? In my opinion, there is a high probability for this trade or for NAS to respect that level. Not only from just a structural standpoint, right? Again, this is, if we really just eliminate these indicators again, this is a level of structure, right? We have evidence in the past. But now we got multiple evidence, multiple confluence that a lot of volume was placed around here, right? So if I'm looking for some type of trade, it's probably going to be looking to short NAS around this 11,400 level. Around. Keyword there is around, right? Not necessarily at that level. You could put your stop loss there if you wanted to, or not your stop, but your entry there if you wanted to, right? But this area is really where I'm going to start to look for some bearish opportunities to get involved. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Let me go ahead and just go lower time frame, see what we got here. Right, we do have an imbalance right in that level as well. So yeah, I really do like that area, guys. That area does look very, very juicy. That red line is touching in, the beginning of an imbalance. So keep your eyes on it. Right, that 11,400, 11,450 could be a very juicy play, guys, going into tomorrow. All right, so yeah, that's where we're at for these indicators, or not the indicator, but for NAS. All right, it looks good. It looks juicy. All right, let's see what else we got here. Any thoughts on NZD USD? Yeah, let's go take a look at NZD USD. All right, and let's see what the market has done. Now, again, keep in mind, right, I think we said it, but there was some New Zealand news earlier today, right? We had the employment change back at around, what is that, 545? So that was around here. Yeah, where this, not the wick. So we didn't even see no crazy reaction off of the news neither, right, for NAS. But what can we expect now, right? Let's go ahead and look at NAS and what can we expect moving forward, right? Well, overall, I mean, I'm still very much bearish this long term. Obviously, we have seen, guys, for the past few weeks some bullishness come in, but I'm still very much long term here, right? And before I even continue, man, I gotta just stop real quick, right? And I gotta just say a big welcome to every single one of you guys that has subscribed so far since this stream. How rude of myself for not shouting you guys out. I appreciate you guys. I do this for you guys that are subscribed and showing love. So big shout out to our subscribers. Thank you guys for rocking with me. Thank you guys for jumping on the stream. And hopefully you guys subscribe because you guys are getting massive value. Not just a little value, but massive value, right? So I appreciate y'all. I love you guys. And I had to stop the stream just to go ahead and show you guys some love, right? Because I do appreciate all my supporters, right? But let's go back to this, guys. So overall, like I said, we're still very much bearish long term. Right now, we're just in this period of correction, right? Which is pretty much a lot of these pairs have been doing, right? So where can we realistically see this thing go? Well, the most obvious area that I look for is probably right back up to here, right? Like this is I don't know. This area is just very interesting and interesting. I can't even speak. Interesting to me, right? This 0.6 level. Now let's go lower time frame, see if there's anything else we can see, right? Yeah, so I really do want to see price come back up to this 0.6 level, right? I think that we could realistically see price, make its way up here. So that's really where I want to start look. Yeah, all the way up there. Yeah, I want to see that, right? I would love to see that. Somewhere up in here would be absolutely juicy, right? Big shout out to our newest subscriber, Ike. What's going on, dog? Appreciate you for tuning in. Let's get it, right? But I do think, guys, I don't know, just based off what we're seeing, like I don't see anything here. Right, in this little cell, I don't see anything here that really has enough to stop price from continuing to go higher. Right, so from NZD USD, I don't know. I think there's a chance for price to get up there. I don't know if it's gonna happen, but that's if it does, just know I'm selling the house and I'm taking that. But what I want to do is actually want to go ahead and bring up, my indicators now, right? And let's see what we got here, right? See if there's anything that the market is telling us based off these indicators. All right, I mean, the only thing this is telling us, guys, that we have a lot of bullish momentum right here, right? That's the only thing that this is telling me, right? So I would definitely be, very interested in looking for some possible long opportunities here for NZD USD, right? Going into tonight, again, keep in mind we do have major news tomorrow, guys, with the federal funds rate decision, which we will be live tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern. We will watch the news live. We will analyze the information live, and we will come up with some type of sentiment live, right? So just be mindful of that. But like I said, for NZD USD, guys, this doesn't look bad. I think that there could be a nice play here. If we could see price come back down to these lows, let me go ahead and go to 1 minute time frame just so I can see what I'm looking at. Yeah, if we could see price come back down to these lows, I think that there could be a very decent opportunity here, guys, for NZD USD, right? And I'm looking at that level. Just because I'm looking at where, our last big level of volume was, right? We obviously just seen this thing shift up here, right? So we do have a lot of volume up here as well. But I would love to see, price drop from here, and then from there go ahead and give us that nice move higher, right? I would love to see price come and fill this wick at the very least, right? But again, like I said, we could possibly see this thing much higher, right? All the way up to there, right? That's a long ways, right? That's around 100, 200 pips. Yeah, that's 200 pips to the upside. That's a long ways, right? But just for right now, we're gonna go ahead and possibly just target back up to these highs just to keep it simple. And yeah, this is not a bad play here, guys. Right? Again, we're talking about almost a 7-to-1 risk reward, right? Risking around 2% or around 8 pips to go for around 60. Not bad, right? And the reason why I do like it, again, because look at this. Look at where our entry will be. Our entry is literally where all of these points of control are at. Like all of these. Right? And all of these points of control is showing us that all of the volume, majority of the volume that we've seen, for the past day, has literally been in this level. So what is that telling us? That's telling us that smart money is making some decisions around these levels. That's what that's telling us. So if we want to look for a bullish play, that's where, in my opinion, the best opportunity is going to come from, right? So if we can see price pull back down a little bit, I will be very interested in look for that long for sure. Again, price doesn't have to, but if it does, we know exactly what to look for. All right, so let's see what else we got here. Let's see. Abel, can you tell more? Can you tell more about how to trade order blocks? Yeah, I could definitely go into order blocks a little bit. Order blocks are interesting, right? What is an order block? First of all, let's really break this down, right? Because that's a question that we typically get a lot, right? Order blocks, right? An order block is literally just an area in price, right, that has evidence that we can see that a lot of orders were accumulated at, right? Because usually when we identify a order block that makes sense, it's followed by massive price action, right? By big moves, fast moves, right? So not everything that you see in the markets, guys, is going to be an order block, right? There's a lot of stuff in here that looks like an order block, but it isn't an order block. What's an order block, in my opinion? Something like this, right? Where we had this bullishness followed by this bearish engulfing that completely shifted the markets. That can be an order block. Right now, again, depending on who you ask, people are going to look at order blocks differently, right? But that's one right there, right? Why? Because, again, this is that bullish-bearish combination, but it came after after we created it, we seen a massive increase in selling pressure that broke structure. I think that's the biggest thing, guys, that I look for order. If I'm using an order block to try to look for an entry, right, I'm making sure that order block actually did something. Right, like this is an order block in my opinion because right after we formed it, it broke this level of structure, this level of structure, this level of structure. Shoot, this came and ran even this level of structure, right? So we had all these stairs right here that were completely ran once we created this order block. So how do we play that? Well, guess what? Price gets back up into that order block. We have to assume something, right? Even though I still think we're going to be bullish, we have to assume some type of reaction. We just have to, right? Because if there was this much selling pressure here, guys, right? There was a lot of selling pressure. There was probably a lot of orders that were not able to get filled because of how fast this trade happened, right? So yeah, we should expect some type of reaction because of all those unfilled sell orders that were left behind. But even if we do get it, that's just going to give us another opportunity to go ahead and go long, right? So that's where we're at overall with this. But yeah, I think it's interesting, right? But that's what an order block is, just to keep it simple. Again, we will be doing master classes, guys, on all of these topics inside of the Profit Society community. So if you guys are not a part of the Profit Society community just yet, only thing I could recommend to you, because the website is currently down, is to make sure to follow the Telegram. All right, make sure to be a part of the Telegram so that you are updated, guys, for everything to do with us, right? But we will break down all that stuff during the master classes that we're planning on holding for the actual Profit Society community. So yeah, that's where we're at. All right, let's see what you got. Let's see what else we got here. Okay, cool. HD sessions too, you must have at least a basic pay. There's another one showing sessions volume profile pivot anchored by. I appreciate you, George. Right. So yeah, guys. Again, if you guys do want these indicators, then go ahead and get it. Go ahead and get them. Right. Big shout outs to our newest subscriber, Isaac. What's going on? Appreciate you for tuning in. Let's get it. All right. Let's see what else we got. Can you analyze Euro NZD? Yeah, we could take a look at Euro NZD. See what we got going on over here. Let's see what we got. Let's see what we got. All right. So, very interesting play here for Euro NZD. I mean, this thing is looking like it wants to go. I mean, it's clearly selling off right now, right? The question is how far? Like, what can we truly expect from this specific pair, Euro NZD, and what can we expect next? Right? Well, I mean, let's look at what price has been doing. You know, we have come from this little lower low, lower high, lower low, a little bit of a higher high, lower low sequence. And then we started to actually change course, right? We created this lower low, higher low, and that led into a higher high, right? We broke this high, we broke this high. So we're literally starting to see, guys, momentum shift overall for Euro NZD, right? Where we went from this bearish trend all 2021 and into 2022, where we're actually starting to see, you know, this thing actually turn around in reverse. So where can we target from? Right, because long term we're still going to be now. I mean, we could look for some long term. Again, the keyword here is long term, guys. We should expect price to eventually want to go higher, right? But before we do that, I mean, price is going to drop some ways before we even get close to that. Okay, so what I would like to see is Euro NZD continue to sell off, but once we get down into this level around here, guys, right, this 1.64, 1.65 level. I think that will be an interesting area, guys, where we could actually start to find some bullishness come back into play. Why that level? Using structure. Remember what I said. I always use previous price to give me some type of a clue as to what we can expect price to do. Right? So, yeah, if we can come back down into this area, that will be absolutely juicy. Right? Something like this could be absolutely key. But like I said, guys, we're looking at this thing from the daily, right? From the daily, right? So there's so much stuff that can happen in the meantime. But do not lose sight of what the blueprint is, though, right? The blueprint now is for price to continue dropping, right? And I'm wanted to continue dropping all the way until we get down to this 1.65 level. That's the overall bigger blueprint, right? Get in the habit, guys, of figuring out what your objective is, your blueprint. What is your blueprint? What are you expecting to see? And then when you get the overall bigger picture, then you can start going lower time frames and really try to figure out what the heck is going on. All right, but let's go ahead and bring it up this tool, volume profile tool, guys, and even look at the volume profile tool, right? Like, again, this is literally telling us that all of the volume was definitely at this level, right? So, yeah, you know, it just makes a lot of sense for us to be into here, guys, because, again, this tool, you can also utilize as something like a magnet, right? It acts like a magnet. Price traditionally or typically likes to go back towards that point of control, right? That point of control. Price typically likes to move back into that area. So yeah, you know, that area that we just spoke about, I mean, it looks a lot more juicy now for those, you know, for us to go ahead and target, right? So let's start going lower time frame now, right? See what we got here, right? So now we're on the 4 hour time frame. What are we seeing? Well, we are seeing price creating lower low, lower high, lower low sequence. I would be very interested to see if we could actually bounce back up to get to that point of control before we actually go back bearish. Now, again, we are on the 4 hour. I'm not sure if we're gonna do that. It doesn't look like I mean, it could, right? So that's just something that we can keep an eye, guys, on that point of control all the way up there at the 4 hour. You know, you never know. Price could reach it. It might not. It could. I think if it does, then that's a prime area to go ahead and go short from, right? But again, I don't know if we are going to. All right, I really don't. But let's start going lower time frame. See what we got here. All right, I'm just going through time frames to see. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna make our way all the way back up to those highs just yet, family, for Euro NZD, right? But what I do think we can, I mean, if we look at these points of control, I also bring in the other one as well, so we can really start to add confluence, right? If we're able to see price now come back up into this level, right? Look at all these red lines, all these red bars are points of control, guys, for various different sessions that are being measured. Look, that tells me that there's a crap ton of volume in this level right here. right? So if we want to get back in, then I think a move back up to that level could be absolutely attractive. Now, keep in mind, we are on smaller time frames here, guys. 1 minute, 5 minute time frame. So seeing price come back up into this level is actually something that could really happen overnight, right? Like pretty quickly, right? So this is not a bad play here. You know, something like this, guys, could realistically give us a decent risk to reward as well. You know, because stops will probably be right above. Yeah, we could put stops right here. I mean, we do have, and I'm looking, and I'm pausing now because I'm looking over here too. I want to make sure that my stop loss is in an area that makes sense, right? And typically we do want to stay above this swing high, especially since we did end up breaking structure, right? We don't want to see price run that high typically. But we do have some imbalance, right? And that definitely is something that I'm concerned about, right? Because more times than not, there's probably a more likelihood now that we actually end up running these highs right here, right? So if I'm looking for Euro NZD shorts, it's probably going to be up here near these highs, right? Around 1.692 to see if we can actually go ahead and clear this high, close this imbalance, and then from there go ahead and continue going lower. All right, so this is not a bad play. I think it actually is looking good, right? I think it does look very juicy, and I'm very interested to see how it plays out. I'm actually going to keep this one on my radar for sure. But that's what I'll be looking for Euro NZD, guys, right? I like to sell it from this 1.692 level to then go ahead and continue going lower, right? And as you guys can see, I don't necessarily just put it on the point of control my entries, right? And that's what I want you guys to get from that. I'm also still analyzing what is happening, right? All of this, even though we had a lot of volume right here, also keep in mind, where is all the liquidity at then, right? If we have all this volume in this level, cool, right? Where's everybody's stop losses at? Because if everybody's entering here, there's got to be stop losses somewhere. And that's why we also got to still think outside the box. You got to still have your smart money hat on. Cool. Stop losses are probably going to be above this here, right? Where this imbalance is. So that's where we can go ahead and look for an entry, run the highs, right? And then from there, go ahead and look for that continuation. All right, so that's just my thought process, guys. Again, so, you know, for anybody that is going to use these volume profile indicators, it's not always going to be on there. You do have to still consider the liquidity aspect, you know, the smart money concept aspect, so you are making sure you get in the right entries, right? But that's what I would look for sure, guys, on Euro NZD. I hope that made sense for whoever actually had asked for it. Veronica, that was for you, Veronica. Let's see what else we got here. Do you mess with the settings or change on the profile? So I messed with a couple, but for the most part, these are default right now, all right? Because I just added the other one back, and they are, for the most part, default. The only thing that I actually ended up changing was just the row size, right? Make sure that the row size, guys, is around 100, just so that the bars are a little bit more, you know, easier to read. So definitely put it at the row size to 100. That's like the only big change that I did. Let's see. All right, so again, keep in mind, guys, right? GJ, my play here for GJ is this buy, right? We already set the pending order here on GJ, right? So now we're just waiting for price to get down into this pending order. If we can get into this pending order, then yeah, you know, hopefully we'll go ahead and be able to target back up to this 170.5 level, right? So that's my analysis on GJ, right? That's my thoughts on it. That's what I want to look for. Anything else outside of that, you know, I'm really not interested in it, right? But that's my play on GJ. GCAT engulfing on the higher time frame. Oh, really? Let's see what we got here. I mean, I really do think this is going to absolutely tank. Right? I think this is going to continue to tank. I think this is going to continue to tank, man. I'm interested in it up here, though. All right, if we can see that little, I don't, like I said, I don't think we're going to, I'll be surprised if we make it up here now at this point, just by looking at structure and price action and seeing how we're playing. But that's what I'm looking for GCAP. But yeah, I do still like to sell off for sure. Let's see what else we got here. Great stream. I appreciate that, Trev Beats. Thank you so much. How do you find your daily bias, right? By going to your daily time frame and asking yourself very simply, right, these few questions. Number one, what is the trend? That should be everybody's first question. What is the trend? Right? What is the trend of the market, right? That should be everybody's first question. What is the freaking trend? If you don't know what the trend is, you should not be placing any trades, because how do you know if it's time to buy or sell if you don't know what the trend is? Right? So that's the first question. Right? What is the trend? Right? Let me see. The audio is choppy. It could have been because I was holding the mic with my hand, right? Let me see. How's it sound now, family? Does it sound better? Or is it still a little choppy? It's fixed now. Let's go. Perfect. Yeah, I think it was just because I was holding it. All right, so again, the first question is, what is the trend? Right? And then when you find the trend, the next question is very simple. Ask yourself, all right, cool. Where are our key levels of structure? All right? What is the trend? Where is our key levels of structure? And where are areas of liquidity? Those are like the main things that I look for when I'm on the higher time frame, right? Trend, key levels of structure that I'm going to be paying attention to, and then locating areas of liquidity that I can target, that I can expect price to go ahead and target to grab that liquidity. Once you understand those three things, that can create your bias, right? That can create your bias. I mean, if we're talking about GCAD, cool, let's talk about it, right? Very simple. This is how I do it. Trend, we're bearish, right? We clearly have been selling off the entire year. We are bearish, okay? Next thing, structure. Let's highlight some structure points. Structure, right? Structure, okay? Structure. Don't overcomplicate it, right? You don't need a million lines on your chart, right? But we highlight these levels of structure, guys, as areas where we can expect price to give us some type of reaction from, okay? The next thing, liquidity. Where is there potential liquidity? Well, all of these structure points, where I'm actually going to erase them, and I'm just going to go ahead and use some lines. But all of these structure points, guys, are areas of potential liquidity, right? Because all of these are really not too protected lows, right? So all of these levels are areas of liquidity, all right? I mean, just look at how simple that, I mean, it's not simple, right? But look at this, right? This low is really not nothing crazy. So yeah, I will be targeting all of these levels. So that is how I create my bias. The trend is down, right? We identify levels of structure, right? Those same levels of structure could be areas that are holding liquidity, and that's pretty much what I was looking for, and that's what we're targeting. All right, so how do you read risk to reward on TradingView? Great question, by the way. That's definitely a great question because this is very, very important to understand. All right, so risk to reward tool, right? Very simple. This is the tool right here, right? It's actually called the long position and short position tool over here on the left side on the toolbar. All right, for everybody that does not favorite their actual tools, make sure to go ahead and click that star, right? Make sure to favorite it, because once you favorite it, guys, it actually shows up on the screen like this. All right, just a little tip, right? For those of you guys that don't have this on your screen just yet, that's how you do it. Just favorite it, right? But all we do, guys, is we set the actual setup, our stop loss, our take profit, and in the middle, it tells us risk to reward ratio, right? This is it telling us how much we're pretty much going. I mean, technically it's, yeah, risk to reward, but it's like reward to risk. But 7-to-1, which means, right, if we are risking 1%, then we are going for 7% gains. Risk to reward is 7-to-1 or 1-to-7, right? 1-to-7 risk to reward. Risking 1%, we're going for 7% gains. We're risking 2%, we're going for 14% gains. Right, so this tool is crucial because it does help us identify that risk to reward, right? But based on your stop loss, based off your take profit, your risk to reward is going to be different, right? Rule of thumb, risk to reward ratio should be at least 2 and above. It should be at least 2. I don't take no trades unless it's at least a 2-to-1 risk to reward, right? But that's the risk to reward. Let's see what happened to the live session today. I couldn't log in. Yeah, I mean the website completely like you guys destroyed the website this morning, right? So if you guys were on this morning's New York stream, or not stream, right? But this New York session this morning that we actually hosted on the Profit Society platform, yeah, you guys broke it. I'm just being honest, right? Y'all broke it. There was too many people trying to log into the website at the same exact time, and it completely smashed the servers. And it did. You guys did a number on our website, right? Where now we got to like do a whole lot of programming. We have to go to a whole lot of tech support to even try to get it back up and running. But that's actually a good thing, right? That shows that you guys are serious about it. You guys want to learn, you know. So if we have to, you know, shatter our servers every single morning, then so be it, right? It is what it is. You know, we'll keep on putting money into upgrading the servers until we get it perfect, and you know, you guys are having a phenomenal product, right? So, but yeah, you guys destroyed it. Blame yourselves. All right, let's see. If you have time, can you check EU, check gold? Yeah. Right, so again, we pretty much already did a few of these guys, so I'm just going to give you guys exactly what my outlooks are or what my plays are. So this is gold. I do want to look for the buy here, so I have a buy limit, or I will set a buy limit. I don't have one just yet, but I will set a buy limit down here, guys, around the 1640. And I do think that we have a possibility, guys, to really see price go ahead and go up to this level up here, up to this range. Right, so I would like to look for some type of buy situation here on gold, and that's what I'm playing right here for gold for sure. Okay. EU, let's look at EU. Now, EU is, again, very interesting. I have no interest in EU right now, unless we do see price go ahead and continue going bullish, right? At least back up to these levels, right? And even then, guys, like, I'm gonna be honest, like, you guys know, especially those of you guys that have been on these sessions with me for a while, you guys know EU is my baby, right? Like, I really do like trading EU a lot, just because I analyze the dollar index a lot, right? Like, the dollar is like my go-to chart. The first chart that I really analyze is the dollar index. And the euro does the exact opposite of like literally the exact opposite of what the dollar is doing, right? So it just makes so much sense for me to really like this pair. But I'm going to be honest with y'all. Like, I am a little torn as to what we really could expect, right? Because we did actually have, like, again, some selling pressure come in. And, I mean, we are in this... clearly in this sell, right? I mean, we've been bearish for the entire year. We've been calling this out for we've been calling this out, guys, for 2 years now, right? Like, this sell-off, right? Like, since the end of 2020, right? We've been telling people that, this is probably going to sell off because the dollar was about to gain strength. And although I do think we are going to continue long-term, for sure we're still going to continue, right? We're eventually going to come back and run these lows. I'm just keeping in mind, guys, of everything that we've been talking about, right? Quarter four, historically, quarter four, is going to be a lot of spending, a lot of this, a lot of that, midterm elections, right? So there's a lot of pressure right now, right? A lot of pressure right now, guys, for the Fed to change course. And that's going to affect these currencies, right? And that's why I'm a little bit more cautious right now, right? Because, I mean, there was let me see if I can actually get it, right? Because it's actually pretty interesting. I think this boy, Skaggs, actually sent me something. Give me 1 second, guys. Right, he sent something in my chat earlier that was actually pretty hilarious, right? Let me see what it was. Oh, he actually sent it in Telegram, right? Let me see, bring it up. Right, let's see. Let me bring up my telly. Like, this is hilarious, right? Like, I think this is freaking funny as hell, right? Hold on, let me see. Let me actually just save this because this is funny. Desktop, save. Right, like, you guys want to know why, like, these markets might actually rebound, and why the Fed might actually do a U-turn. So again, we have Q4, right? Again, this is the time of year where everybody's going broke for their children, right? Literally, historically, it happens. We have midterm elections coming up, right? Which, again, Joe Biden is not going to want to go into midterm elections, guys, with the stock market negative. That's just not going to happen, right? It's just not going to look good. So those two things, and then you combine it again with a lot of outside, pressure, you could say, right, from various entities. We got the United Nations trying to tell central banks to change course. We actually just seen today, actually, and this is what I want to show you guys right here. Like, look at this crap, guys. Like, imagine you're the Federal Reserve, right? Imagine you're Jerome Powell, and you're trying to, get price stability back to our side, right? Because, again, the main objective of the Federal Reserve and of these central banks is to do what? Have low unemployment, stable prices. That's like the main couple things, right? Low unemployment, stable prices. We have low unemployment. We do not have stable prices. So if your objective is to get stable prices again and get inflation back lower, back to around CPI around that 2%, then what you're doing right now is to get to that point, right? You raising rates is to actually get inflation under control. But when you have things like this is actually from the Congress, guys. Like, we're talking about from a senator, a member of Congress, and another senator that's pretty much saying, yo, you guys are tripping about trying to slow down the economy. Tripping, right? So it's things like this that has me on edge with a few of these biases that we've been having, because there is a lot of reason, guys, for this thing to actually go ahead and possibly continue. Just like these indices, right? Even though I do want to see this thing sell off, again, there's a lot of public pressure right now, right? Like things like that letter I just showed you guys, right? Things like midterm elections, things like the fact that we're going into the holiday season. All that stuff could actually cause the markets to rally a little bit. All right? It's very possible. But even if it does, right? Even if we do get a crazy rally, once midterm elections is over and once we get past all this stuff and all these holiday stuff by the beginning of next year, we're going to continue back into that bearishness overall that I think, right? So that's just something to keep in mind, guys. Like I said, but EU, it's interesting. Like right now, from a technical perspective, yeah, this thing looks like it wants to short, right? Like it looks like it wants to sell off, right? If we bring in the volume indicators, right, volume profile, again, we are at a major level of, of interest, right? That point of control right there, right? So yeah, I get it, right? Right now, this looks like an absolute amazing looking opportunity to look for some shorts. But we just got to keep that in mind, guys, right? Again, there is a lot of stuff happening that could really change these markets very, very quickly, right? But overall, like I said, I do want to look for some shorts. I'm very interested in looking for some shorts for right now, but I'm definitely keeping in consideration what's really happening as well. Now, where can we short from, though? Right? If we are looking for a short for Euro USD, well, I mean, let's go ahead and see where we at, right? We have all of this. And I know some of you guys are probably looking at my screen like, yo, what's all that? Right, but we have all of this right here. All of this major, look at these red lines, right? All of this major volume. So for Euro USD, coming back up to there, guys, will probably be the best bet. Right, looking for a short from up in there. Probably a very, very juicy play here, right? Something like this. Not bad. Right, not bad. Okay, not bad, right? So something like that could be an opportunity here, guys, going into tonight. All right, but just don't lose sight of what I was saying, though, guys. Like, I'm not saying everything with, the midterms and all that stuff just to say it like it's true, right? Like, again, don't be surprised if we see these, the stock market rally randomly, right? Like, we can get negative data and the stock market still want to rally just because of manipulation, right? So it's just something that I'm keeping my eye on for sure for the rest of the year because it could happen. All right, let's see what else we got here. Yeah, you guys are going in today. Let me see if I can catch up with the comments. Are you a swing trader? I could be. It depends on the setup. All right, it depends on the setup, right? I mean, if a setup is giving me a scalp, I'm taking it. If a setup is giving me an intraday, I'm taking it. If it's giving me a swing trade, I'm swinging it, right? But yeah. How did you read the pip amount off of TradingView? Like how much pip profit you'll take and stop loss set? So that's a good question as well when it comes to reading this tool. So this tool is interesting. I mean, again, it's just reading this middle number right here, right? The one after the percent, the 32.8. Like that is telling us exactly how many pips we are using our stop loss for, right? 32.8 stop loss will be right here. And then down here, 165.3 is our target, right? So we'll be risking 32.8 on this, 165 on this, just hypothetically speaking, so you know exactly what to look for. But you want to look at this number in the middle, right? The 32.8, the 165. All right, EA. Let's go take a look at EA. Shout out to that guy, Castro. I see you. What's up? Now, let's go see what we got here for EA overall. EA looks good. I think we're going to continue going bearish here for EA. I think that there's a very good chance. This looks actually very similar to GU, right? But I think there's a good chance that we can make our way back down to these levels personally. All right, I think there's a good chance that we could really make our way lower. So that's what I would be looking for opportunities on, right? Looking to actually short. Okay, now where can we actually short from? Well, let's go ahead and go lower time frame. Okay, so I'm interested, guys, in looking at, let's see what we at. Let me see. Yeah, I like this level up here. Right, if we can make our way back up to these levels, guys, I think there's a very, very good chance for us to actually look for some continuation to the downside here for Euro AUD. Right, so something like this could be something attractive. All right, something like this could be a potential play for us here, guys. If we wanted to trade Euro AUD, something like this could be very, very interesting for sure. Right, back up to the top of the range, You know, in that area, we had to mitigate some price. You know, we had that last spike up before the market ultimately shifted. All right, so yeah, you know, this could look like a very interesting opportunity. I think these highs right here, guys, is pretty much just building up more liquidity to get ran. And yeah, that's what I would look for. Now let's go ahead and bring up our volume profile indicator just to see if we do have any evidence that this could be a high area of volume. And yeah, look at this. Right, again, we do have a lot of volume bars up here, right? These red bars are the ones I'm looking at. Those are the points of control, right? So we do have a lot of points of control up here. So yeah, you know, if we can get up into this area around this 1.55, I think there's a very good chance for us to go ahead and go short here on Euro AUD. All right, so that one looks good. Keep your eyes on it, you know, and see what the market does. I'm actually going to highlight it too, you know, and I'll keep my eyes on this one as well. All right, again, big shout out to our newest subscribers. I appreciate y'all. Thank you guys for rocking with me today. Hopefully you guys been able to get some value so far. All right, and hopefully that's the reason why you did actually go ahead and decide to subscribe, because of the value, right? It definitely means a lot to me that you guys are rocking with me, though. All right, so that's what we got for EA. Very simple. I would like to go ahead and sell it from up here. I don't care what happens down here. I mean, there is a chance for price to run lower, but I think it's just going to run lower to go ahead and play off of these lows to then go ahead and send us higher. All right, so that's my bias overall. Let's see. How do you feel about trading during Q4? That's a good question, right? Because I'm definitely a little bit more cautious, right? You know, that's what I'll say, right? Because again, you know, Q4 it brings in, especially with the current state of the economy, current state of the markets, right, where we're dealing with so much pain, so much uncertainty, so much doubt in the market as a whole. It's tough to really figure out what the sentiment could be during this period in time, right? Because like I mentioned, right, again, Q4, you know, spending occurs, right? This is where all of our holidays come in, right? From Halloween to Thanksgiving to Christmas, right? Those are, you know, major holidays that we do a lot of spending, right? Spending across the board is going to influence these markets overall, right? Consumer spending, guys, plays a major role on what these actual currencies are going to do because of sentiment based off current market or current, you know, consumer confidence, right? Sentiment around consumer confidence in the market is going to lead these currencies to do one thing or another. All right, so that's something that's very important to understand. But for me, I'm definitely a lot more cautious during Q4. All right, a lot more cautious just because, again, the market is going to react and respond a lot of different ways, especially with midterm elections. Do not sleep on manipulation in the markets because of midterm elections. Do not be surprised if that happens. But because of that, that's why I'm definitely a lot more cautious for sure. Now, I'm not saying that I'm avoiding trades, because I still take every trade that looks phenomenal. But I'm definitely lowering my risk for sure, just to be on the safe side. All right, let's see what do we got here. Can you please do analysis of gold, keeping in mind daily range as FOMC is right ahead? Did you ever trade high frequency HFX? So again, HFX is talking about binary options. And just keep in mind, family, HFX, that terminology, was only a terminology that was for that company that you were a part of, right? HFX in the real world, in the real financial world, has to do with actual tools that smart money has access to, right? High frequency trading is a real thing, but that is actually referring to the tools that we do not have access to, but that smart money does. So don't get it confused with the HFX. I'm pretty sure you guys are more so know about because of the platform you guys just came from, which that is binary options, right? That form is binary options. So just to answer your question with that though, right? I haven't traded binary options in a while, right? Ever since I was a part of the platform and we were pushing it heavy, I stopped, right? I haven't traded in about probably 1.5 to 2 years now. And the reason for that is just because I just don't like the risk to reward for binary options. Like, there is no risk to reward, right? You're always going to be risking more than what you can ever get back. So because that alone, your accuracy has to be through the roof. You have to have like super high accurate. You have to have super high accuracy when it comes to binary options if you truly want to see some type of consistency. And for me, my accuracy wasn't as good as I needed it to be for me to see consistent profit with it. I seen some profit just because I know how to trade as a whole, but consistently it just wasn't there, right? So I ended up stopping because it was just a waste of my time. All right, so let's see. Oh, okay, was a part of IM Academy. Yeah, that's the one. What is the blue and gold bars on your chart, right? So those are what we call volume profile, right? It's a new indicator, a new tool that I've been utilizing for the past couple of weeks, and now I wanted to bring it to you guys because it's been It's been on fire for sure. A part of which platform you look mad familiar. I'm pretty sure you guys sound. Crazy thing is, like, I probably have taught, and this is no cap. Like, this is not even lying, no nothing, right? Like, I mean, even if you guys go to my actual, like, my website for my ProTrader Bootcamp, because I do have a ProTrader Bootcamp series, guys, that pretty much goes in depth with everything I'm teaching you guys right now. Like, I have a whole 5-day series that literally goes in depth, breaking down all this stuff, right? So for anybody that does want to take their training to the next level, you guys can go ahead and have access to this. Go to ProTraderBootcamp.com and go ahead and buy some things up. Even if you only want, you know, a specific topic, you guys can even come here and just buy a specific day, right? Whether it's creating a bulletproof system, technicals, emotions, risk management, fundamentals. I know a lot of you guys are definitely interested in fundamental analysis, so definitely come here and go ahead and grab this this video and, you know, go ahead and get some sauce. But like I said, you know, I've taught guys literally a lot of people because of the platform I was a part of, right? You know, I was a part of IM. I was one of the educators. I wasn't just one of the educators. I was an educator for like 4 years on the platform. And not just that, but I was the go-to guy for everybody that was new, because I was the basics guy, right? I was the basics, but I was also a educator for the strategy. But because I was the basics educator for the platform, I was introduced to a lot of people, and a lot of people were introduced to me, right? So some of you guys might be like, yo, that dude looks mad familiar. Where do I know him from? Well, were you a part of IM? That's probably where, right? So big shout out to all you guys. I appreciate y'all that was rocking with me back then and that are now rocking with me now, right? But yeah, you know, I like I said, guys, like, I'm not new to this, right? I'm not new to this. You know, we've been teaching live online for a while now. This event right here, guys, was a 2,000 to 3,000 person event in Atlanta. This was a smaller event in Pennsylvania. This was a 4,000 person event in the Caribbeans. You know, so again, like, this is what I do. You know, I really do have a passion for teaching. I have a passion for making money, for one, trading, but I also have a passion for teaching as well, right? So again, you know, just had to throw this plug in there. If you guys do want access to this, go ahead and grab yourself some videos. You know, I promise you, you will get a lot of value from that. And just to throw it, if anybody does purchase a video, you do get added into a private chat, right? So access to one video gets you access to my private community, okay? Now, keep in mind, I'm just throwing this out there right now as well, right? Just throwing this out there. For anybody that purchases the entire 5-day series, right, which is actually not that expensive. It's only $325, which is pretty cheap, okay, because of what you're going to get from it. Don't look at this number and be like, damn, man, oh, man. No, what you're going to get from it is next level, right? I mean, the roof is unlimited once you really go over all this stuff, right? But for anybody that does purchase this, I'm working on my full course, family. I'm working on a full A through Z course. And anybody that actually has the 5-day bootcamp or has purchased the 5-day bootcamp or was a part of the live recordings of the 5-day bootcamp, you're getting my entire course for free. Like, you're grandfathered in. Right? So I'm just saying, if you guys want to get grandfathered into my entire course when I drop it in a couple weeks, it'll probably be closer to like December when I'm ready with it, right? But if you want access to my entire course for only $325, then buy this bootcamp series and you'll get my course for free. You'll be grandfathered in. For those of you guys that don't and you guys wait, just know this price is going to double. If you guys wait till my full course comes out, it's going to be $750 for that course. Okay? Now, again, I don't want you guys to look at, dang, Abel, $750. You best believe it. Why? Because I'm confident that you're going to be able to make multiple 6, 7 figures from that course. I've done it, right? And I'm really giving you guys everything in the course now, like going in depth with case study after case study. Like, we're going in, right? So just throwing it out there, right? So, again, if you want to get it, that full course, just buy the boot camp and you get access to it once I actually do fully launch it. And if you don't, you can wait. Like I said, you can wait all you want, but you're going to have to pay $750 for it. And if you don't pay it, it is what it is. I don't care, all right? It's not going to affect me. I truly want you guys to succeed, but you know, you got to invest into yourself for more than anything, right? But that's just a little rant on that, guys. But overall, like I was saying, you know, we're going to be patient. We're going to let the markets do what they do. Gold itself is starting to push up a little bit. I was looking for the buy, so we'll keep our eye on that. Let's go back to GJ. GJ, I still got my pending order. The only trade that I got open right now, guys, is this buy on GJ. Like, the only one that I actually have open is a pending order, right? You can see it right here from my actual spreadsheet, my trading journal that I have here. This is the only one right here, right? This one is still open. I'm actually going to change this color so that I know it's still open so I don't lose sight of that, right? So that one is still open, okay? Still open. Actually, I'm going to change that. Instead of a green, I'm going to change it to something a little bit more random. Orange. There we go. All right, so, yeah, that's going to be game changer, guys. So, overall, like I said, we'll keep our eyes on this GJ. I will analyze it with you guys in the morning during New York session because we will be live during New York session inside of the platform, Profit Society platform. If the platform doesn't work, then we'll just send the Zoom link in the Telegram for everybody so you guys can still get on, right? But without further ado, family, I appreciate y'all. I love you guys. Thank you guys for rocking with me. We've been going for over 2 hours now. And, yeah, and I hope you guys, hopefully you guys got some crazy value from this call, right? Because it's absolutely crazy. All right, let me just see. Her binary options aren't compliant. Yeah, they're not compliant in a few different places, right? You ever come to Jersey? Yeah, I actually did a couple events in Jersey. Right, I actually did a couple events in Jersey. Let me see. Let me actually bring up a picture. Let me see if I can find it really quick. Yeah, because I actually did a couple events in Jersey. The most recent event we did in Jersey too. There was around it wasn't crazy big, but it was around 300-400 people there. Yeah, it was around 300-400 people. It was pretty dope, pretty fire. We had a great time. Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to just find it right now. Right, but yeah, more story have been in Jersey, and I wouldn't mind going back. But all right, family, I do appreciate you guys. I love y'all. Thank you guys for rocking with me today. 2 hours strong. Hopefully you guys got some value. I will be back live tomorrow morning for New York session, and I look forward to seeing you guys there. But all right, family, I love you guys. I appreciate y'all, and I hope you guys have a phenomenal rest of your guys' night. Let's get it, y'all. Have a great one.